Welcome to Rebuilding Masculinity. We are going to talk about today. Marriages. Is marriages worth it? It's the big question. And the reason I am getting into this question is because it's something that a lot of people speak about on social media, whether it pertains to men or it pertains to women. And a lot of men, what I see is that they say, well, hey, when I get married, this stops happening. And what this is what we're going to get into. I also hear women say, well, when I get married, he stops doing X, Y, and Z. So we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Because marriage is not, a lot of people say marriage is not what it used to be. But the funny part is, and not even the funny part, the interesting part is that most people never even seen what a healthy marriage looks like. Most people have never seen their parents married, go through things and make it through it. Most people have just seen the negative outlook on marriage. They've just seen the people who've gotten married, they've cheated on each other, or they've the man has gotten all of his stuff taken away. The woman has been done dirty. The guy started another family over here. I mean, just the negative aspects of marriage. You never really hear people talk about the positive outlooks of marriage. And it's kind of funny because people will say, well, why do we got to get married to be in a relationship? Well, here's my thoughts. And you guys can tell me what you think. Some people come from a background where their parents were married, their grandparents were married, and they try to continue on that tradition. And some people expect that. And a lot of people in relationships need to start being upfront and blunt. If you don't want to get married, you need to make that known ASAP. Especially once you get to that stage where you went on a couple of dates. If that's not something that you see, however you want to put it into the conversation, you should put into the conversation, hey, this is not something I'm interested in. So that if that's what that person is looking for, whether it's male or female, they don't got to waste their time with you. It's just like if somebody tells you in a relationship, hey, I don't want to have children, then there is nothing for you guys to continue on about. You can dismantle everything right then and there. A lot of people waste each other's time. And time is something that we cannot get back. We cannot get back time. Yesterday was yesterday, today is today, and tomorrow is going to be what it's going to be. You cannot get back what yesterday was. And I think a lot of people don't understand that when it comes to life, whether it's a friendship or whatever the case might be, never let anybody waste your time. If it's a relationship, if it's a friendship, never let anybody waste your time. Never. If you're going to declare that, hey, this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, this is the person that I want to be attached to my legacy, whether a part of that legacy is a house, it might own some real estate, might own some stocks, and most people don't own that. So that's not relevant to most people. But for those that relates to, you got to take things like that serious. And the crazy part is that some people get married for the wrong reasons. Some people get married because they have this thought process that, hey, I want the wedding, but I don't want the marriage, and I don't want to have to deal with what marriage comes with as far as going through struggles, as far as ups and downs. People don't want to deal with that part. They just want the marriage, or they just want the outlook on social media. They just want people to know, hey, I was married, X, Y, and Z. And then that's kind of it. But that is not what marriage is supposed to be about. It's not what marriage is supposed to be about. But let's talk about some of the complaints that men speak about. And I spoke about this in a previous video. A lot of men will say that, hey, I got married and, me and my wife was having a healthy sex life, and during the line of our marriage, she slowed down or she stopped. So now, as a man, you should go into a thought process to try to figure out what happened. Is it something I did? Did I stop doing something? Did I start doing something? Something should kick in. Fellas, when something like that goes on, you need to question it as a man to figure out what's going on. You need to not assume what's going on. You need to start asking questions. And if asking questions are not getting you anywhere, and the woman is acting like she doesn't want to engage in finding a solution, might be time for her to go. Just gonna be honest. And it doesn't mean that you just jump to the conclusion and say, hey, I'm gonna just drop her because she don't want to talk. Maybe you've done something to her. Maybe she's working more as of late. Maybe you set a goal and she's working more and she's tired. Maybe, possibly. Maybe she's working, and this goes for a lot of you guys that work 40 hours a week. She's working 40 hours, you're working 40 hours, but you want her to come home and cook and clean, and you just sit on your ass and watch the NFL or the NBA or whatever you choose to watch on TV, MMA. Yeah. That could be a part of why she's feeling that type of way. Why am I working as much as he's working, and all he does is come home and he just sits down and watch TV? I don't get to do that. You'll have men say, oh, well, my grandmother did that. A lot of y'all, like I said, have not seen healthy marriages or relationships. And you're just speaking from someone else's perspective, and you've not actually seen what you're speaking on. So, fellas, what I'm basically saying, to come to a conclusion so we can get to the women next, is that you need to ask questions. You need to figure out what's going on. You need to figure out why is she feeling the way she's feeling. If that doesn't work, you do need to try to do some marriage counseling. And try to do some marriage counseling, and make sure that your counselor is not someone that's emotional based or gender or taken up for a specific gender because they're that gender. It needs to be a neutral party. It needs to be a person that is not going to get emotional, and that they are going to stick to the logic and the facts. And a lot of times, that's why ladies like to have female marriage counselors, because they're going to, from most of the time, they take up for the women because they're a woman. They're like, they start putting themselves in her shoes instead of actually being like, hey, these are two people I don't know. These are two people that got a problem, and we need to get to the initial root of the problem. We need to get to the root of the problem. What started? Where did it start? How did it start? Counseling is a great thing. Never be afraid to go to counseling, guys. Ladies and gentlemen, never be afraid to go to counseling. Never feel like you cannot be vulnerable enough to go to counseling. And if you can't afford a counselor, and some people say, well, I can't afford this and I can't afford that. Well, maybe you shouldn't even be in a relationship. There's too much struggle love out here. I mean, it is sad. There's so much struggle love out here, it's not even funny. You got people that will be in a relationship and they can barely afford to pay each other's bus fare. The hell are you all even in a relationship for? You need to get yourself together. But fellas, never jump the gun, never assume, ask questions. If asking questions isn't getting you anywhere, go seek counseling. And if she doesn't want to get a counselor, then you need to sit down and have a serious talk with her and say, hey, listen, I want to be with you. I love you. If you do have respect for her, say, hey, I have respect for you, but I cannot sit here and waste my time, and I'm not going to waste your time. So we need to get to the bottom of this to find the root cause of the issue. Is it a health problem? Is it something I did? Is it something that I'm not doing? And if she doesn't want to speak from there, you have a couple of options, fellas. You can give her some time. Say, okay, well, hey, I'll give you a week to ponder upon what I have brought up as far as what my problem is with you, and if I did something to cause this problem. And if she does not, if you give her a time span, because you don't want to tell her, hey, come back to me when you're ready, because this is an issue that's affecting you too. It's not, she can't just be selfish and say, well, hey, I'm gonna come back when I want to. No. Say, hey, I'll give you a week. She doesn't come back to you in a week. She just keeps ignoring you, and her attitude gets worse. Fellas, it's probably time to say, hey, I tried talking to you. I tried getting a counselor. I tried having a serious conversation with you to see if you would open up and talk to me about the problem, and nothing is working. I think it's time that we go our separate ways. And that's when you have to make that harsh decision. All right? Next, ladies. A lot of ladies, because that was a major complaint that I've heard men say in marriages as to what switches up from the woman's side. Ladies, a lot of ladies say, hey, well, you don't treat, a lot of women that say the man don't treat them the way he did when he was trying to court them. They'll say, well, why did he stop doing that? Why did he stop taking you out? Why did he stop taking you to the restaurant? Why did he stop getting you flowers? Well, guess what, ladies? There's things that you've done when you first met him that you stopped doing. See, accountability has to come from both parties. If one party is trying to blame another party and they're acting as if they're innocent, they've done nothing wrong, the problem is the person that does not want to hold themselves accountable. And that's when it all falls down to, okay, cool. If you don't want to be an adult about this, if you don't want to hold any accountability as to what you have done or what part you've played in this, it is time for us to depart. And it doesn't mean that you always jump to, hey, I'm going to just depart, but when you're in a relationship, you have to be willing to have tough conversations that you've never had or that you don't feel comfortable having. You have to be open to having those conversations. You have to be. And you got to know how to talk to each other. You can't always talk to each other or reveal stuff when you get in a heated argument. Say, oh, well, I always blah, 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 blah. And then they reveal what you've always wanted to hear when they get mad. If you all are having a conversation, one person needs to be quiet while the other person talks and explains what they need to say. And after they're done talking, the other person says, well, hey, okay, I heard what you said, and this is how I feel. Ladies, that's a good thing to always say. If a man is not treating you the way he did when you all first met, you might need to start asking yourself, are you doing something wrong? Or ask him, hey, why don't we go out like we did before? Is it money? Is it that you are you upset at me? Did I do something wrong? Did I make you angry? What is it? Ladies and gents, you got to start asking each other questions. You got to learn to start talking to each other. If you do not communicate in a relationship is not going to work. And a marriage is not going to work. And in 2024 going into 2025, marriage can be worth it. Marriage can be worth it. But the stigma that social media is putting on marriage due to all the failed marriages due to all the failed marriages and all the people that have not seen good marriages or have not seen marriages go through things and survive. These are the people that are going on the internet and telling you, hey, not to get married. Some of them never been married themselves. Some of them are bad communicators. Some of them have not even seen what a healthy marriage looks like. Whether it was direct coming from their parents, some of them never seen that. So they don't even know how to even talk about it. Their only talking points about marriage is, they seen their friend get done wrong. Whether it was their friend that was a girl or their friend that was a guy. That's all they're talking from. They're not talking from a position of they're married. They have a successful marriage. They've been through things and they know how to get through things. So my answer to that is, if is marriage worth it in 2024, 2025? I would say it is worth it, but you got to make it worth it. And you got to have reasoning behind why you're even getting married. Besides, I just saw it on social media, it looks good, I want to have this nice big wedding, I want to spend 20 G's, I want to get her a $5,000 ring. And the female's like, I want him to take me here, I want him to take me there, I want the honeymoon to be here, and I want to spend all this money. It has to be a real root cause reason behind marriage. It can't just be like, I saw this person, they was very physically attractive and I just want to put a ring on it, or I just want to be with this person because they look physically attractive. Because if that's the case, you're mixing lust with something that's not going to last long. So if you all disagree with this video, put your comments below. If you agree with the video, put your comments below. Hit the like button and also tell me what you think. Is marriage worth it in 2024 to 2025? Thanks for watching. This is Rebuilding Masculinity again.